want you guys to do in return is to expose that through your social media as well too. So if you guys are on, Facebook,
sure we would.
and if you guys are on thing, and then just tag us in it, so that way we can cross promote that way. You know what I mean?
Okay, now from the beginning.
See what this cappuccino machine looks like. These cappuccino machines are heavy. So all this stuff here, make sure, clean it, give it a good, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be going to the warehouse. And then make sure,
clean last night, shouldn't have been used.
yeah, these here, make sure we take these, as you know, and tell them to bring this downstairs in the Amore room. Then I'll be back later and I'll transfer this over into my thing. Ready to jet?
Let's do it.
Okay. We're doing appreciation for companies, schools, churches, organizations, sports teams, you name it. And for a 1-year cycle where we're going to give a lunch of pasta prepared with our sauce free. So they're free cost, free delivery. There's no strings attached. The only thing is that they have to provide their own plates or cutlery. We're gonna go to the Black Pearl afterwards, just to check to see how customer service is faring and how the morale of the staff is there. I always like to make sure that, you know, our staff and our guests are always comfortable. A lot of people, you know, when they own businesses, sometimes they just forget about the staff. They just, you know, they have an investment, they open up a place, and they let it run. The most important, I think, is for the owners or the people that are, you know, got a big stake into it, is to find out how everybody's doing. For us, it's family. I mean, you're almost looking at about 100 employees that we have right now, and increasing. And I just want to make sure that our employees are looked after and that our customers are looked after as well. It goes hand in hand. We're here to pick up rapini and Brussels sprouts. Thank you, love.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have a good
You too, take care. Back at it again.
always in a rush.
Always, there's always something to do. Yeah, so basically everything that I buy is usually out of my own pocket right now. And then what I'll do is I'll submit those receipts to our financial officer, Daniel, and get reimbursed for them accordingly, right? We all work as a team. I mean, I could use the company card, but it doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, we're all looked after regardless, right? So, plus I collect points on these things, which is awesome. The family business started with my dad, really. Dad came into this country in 1963. He was 14 years old in Montreal, and then came to Edmonton, and a lot of our family is in Edmonton. You know, but we came to Canada because grandparents were working on the railways. There was the jobs in Canada, right? So, you know, they left Italy for a better life for their family. So anyways, my father came when he was 14, and his first job was a busboy at a place called the Caravan in Edmonton. So the Caravan used to be where to be all the high rollers. It was a busboy there, and it was in a hotel. And the Caravan, they used to serve the who's who at Edmonton. They used to call him Little Joe. Southern Italians are not very tall, right? So, you know, we always get the grunt end of it. Anyway, we started with my father in 63. Then obviously, I mean, I was born in 72. Brother was born in 77. I was about 17, 18 years old, and we had decided to move to the Okanagan. Mom and Dad had a dream of retirement, and they had put in their, you know, they had businesses of their own, not just a restaurant, but clothing businesses and bridal boutiques, hair salons. Mom and dad had really worked hard. As they were young, they got married really early in their 20s and decided for retirement. You know, I was of age, 18, you know, was able to make decisive decisions on my own. My brother was a little younger, so I think it was a little tougher for my brother. When he went into BC, then he started to study into the hair industry and everything. He didn't take the restaurant route at that particular time like I did. My father was a restaurateur, but he was also a hairdresser. We kind of split my father in half. You know, one brother took this, one brother took that. We moved to the Okanagan and we moved to Penticton and we opened up a small family restaurant called Nicola's. We named it after my grandfather. I was spearheading. I was the manager. At 18 years old, I was the manager of my own restaurant. My parents, you know, mom was in charge of the financing, the accounting, the administration, the red tape, government, all that kind of stuff. Father was in charge of cooking his food, his tastes, his ways of growing up. That in the household, we've all, you know, my mother would cook, but my father would cook, and that's where a lot of the flavors would come from, was my father's inspiration with the cooking, you know, when he was young, when he did it for his family. We learned from my father and what things that had made sense in sauces, but also, you know, hygiene, cleanliness, keeping things fresh, the cooking process, what to mix with what, food costs, you know, things like that. So 5 years after we had the restaurant, we decided to sell the restaurant and the building, and we did. I moved back to Edmonton right after that. I worked in a couple of restaurants as supervisors and managers, and 2 years working in Edmonton after we had sold the restaurant of Nicola's. I decided to move back to the Okanagan and open up a restaurant that was funded by my parents, but the agreement was that I had to pay them back within 2 years. So my mother was like, you know what? She was a business lady. She was like, no problem. She goes, I'll fund it for you, but the agreement is that you have to pay me back within 2 years. So she was trying to teach me something. I was like, yeah, awesome. And I was like, but you're my mother. Like, why would I have to pay you back? She goes, you're lucky I didn't charge you interest. So she was going to work like a bank. So gratis, she did that. I paid her back, my father, within 2 years. And I had a place called Scampi's. I had it there for 5 years, this restaurant. My brother decided to move from the Vancouver, where he was doing exceptionally well in the hairdressing industry. And he moved back to help out his brother. And the reason why he moved back to help out his brother is because my mother had got diagnosed with cancer. And he knew, and him and I spoke, and I needed that hand because emotionally I was all over the place. My mother had to move back to Edmonton with my father because the Alberta Cross Cancer Institute was here, plus her family, her sisters, her mother, my grandmother. I mean, they were all here. So knowing what she had to go through, so when she did move back, my brother moved to the Okanagan, helped me with my restaurant, but my heart wasn't in there. My heart was where my family was. And so I told my brother I'm going to sell the restaurant. So we sold the restaurant. It took a while. So I moved back to Edmonton. My brother met me back in Edmonton. We stayed with my mother and I worked for a restaurant. My only stipulation is that the only thing I asked for is that when my mother does have the situation in the hospital where I have to go, I need to go. I have to be there for her. They accepted that. I worked there for 5 years. My mother passed away in 2005 and I worked at this restaurant until 2010. And then my father decided that, he says, hey Chris, I got a little place that's out of the way. We can do some sandwiches, maybe some pasta. Middle of nowhere. Maybe 20 seats at the most. Offer cafe, more of a cantina style like in Italy. And then we opened it up and word got around that we were back in business. And the ball kept rolling bigger and bigger and bigger. And the only reason why we're here today is because of my mother, who, even though she went through a terrible fight, a long, hard, terrible fight for 7 years, it kind of brought us together again as a family. And so here we are in Edmonton. So now we just want to grow and do the best for our children as well. Hello. Hey Rob, how you doing? Good. Hey, how are you? We've met before. Yeah, absolutely. Was it Black Pearl? Yeah. Can you pick up the extension? Yeah. Back in the office, Chucky. I'll be back in the office over here. We have a meeting at 3 o'clock, right? People now, we're going to go check how their job is doing. You got scared of the camera? He's following me around all day today. That's the founder, right there. That's the founder of Cafe Amore. Let's go upstairs here. 12, 13. Yes, he is. Man of his word. Good. Come on this way. How you doing? That printer, there was no communication. Their version 9.0. How you doing? I'm gonna bring this machine. We'll call and say hello, okay? You guys enjoy your lunch, okay? Enjoy. What it is, see, the restaurant, when you're in the restaurant, people don't associate the amount of stuff that goes behind. So right now what happens, they're working on my squirrel program, but I have to shut down my computers, which means customers could be waiting for their bills or whatever. Christy, they're gonna be shutting down the computers for now, okay? So wait, give it about 3 minutes, you know what to do when they come back on again. So this way, the supervisors, the servers and all that kind of stuff, and just in case somebody's asking for the bill, they can explain it. Because what happens is, this is where a lot of people, a lot of customers, and this is where you see it on reviews and stuff like that, they're like, you know, I asked for my bill, but it took 10 minutes before it came to the table. Well, maybe perhaps the computer system shut down, and maybe that's the reason why it took 10 minutes in order for the bill to come to the table. But if I can get to that beforehand by explaining to my supervisors and servers to let them know, then great. And sometimes what happens when you're shutting down a computer system, your back end, and it's affecting all your POS systems upstairs, this is where a lot of people say, well, how come I got my food at the same time? Or how come I didn't get this item? Or how come I didn't get my bruschetta first and I got my pasta later? Or how come that drink was missed? The server must not be paying attention. So the thing is that when the computer goes back online, there's little glitches that happen. And sometimes it doesn't correctly follow suit until everything is ironed out, once the glitches are all settled through the computer. So these are some of the reasons, not that the server or the establishment or that the owner are lacking attention to the customer service. Yeah, tell them to get rid of all those boxes, you know what I mean? Like, okay. Hey, hi Calvin. Hi guys, how you doing? Now we're going to National Cappuccino. I just want to maintain a good relationship with them. There's an outstanding invoice that has to be taken care of for a couple of little things that I need. So I'm just going to go see them. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, give me my phone. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon. I got your number anyways, eh? It's right in the Ice District. It's right across from Rogers Arena. It's right amongst all these major buildings, like from BMO to Bell Tower to Sun Place to MMP to so it's got a lot of foot traffic. So we're anticipating it should be a good turnout, right? This will be sort of our signature for Amore Pasta, because the other one is I mean, a lot of people can consider that a flagship, but that's more of a test pilot, Yeah. People ask you what's the secret, what's the secret to operating successful restaurants or whatever the case would be. And what you find with these shows restaurant makeover, not restaurant impossible, restaurant makeover and stuff like that, is the fact that the hosts, whether it be Chef Ramsay or whatever the case would be, or even John Taffer from Bar Rescue and stuff like that, what they're trying to do is they're trying to go there and say, okay, let's try out your food or let's try your drinks. And from there, they know if there's passion or love in what you're doing. And if they know that there's no love or they know that there's no passion, then it falls onto the ownership to find out, why are you not rolling up your sleeves and putting your love and passion into something that you've got your vested interest in? And what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring them the inspiration. That's why they remake their restaurant, or they give them a new menu, or they give them a new cook or a new bartender. It's because they're trying to make sure that they put that passion back in there. And you have to roll up your sleeves to make anything work.
We good?
Yeah.
What's that filter for?
This is the filter that came in with the Lavazza, so we can put it on the upstairs line. And that's it.
Usually do it for 6 to 8 weeks too as well. Yeah, everything about that. So if we could, like, if we...
This for you. Call me to arrange. Accountant. So I'm getting a lot of response, Robert, on this, eh? So what I'm doing here is, see, it just started off here. No, but you can help actually, Audrey. Okay. So I'm doing the staff appreciation for people who've supported us and everything, and I put something on my social media where we.
I know. I talked to you.
Oh.
I mean, I sent it.
Oh, you're the one who sent it? Okay, I thought it was because it's under Carol Rutwin, right? So.
Oh, she forwarded it to me because I didn't have Amore Pasta in.
Oh, okay, no worries.
She forwarded it to me, and then I sent you a message personally. Both the partners will be here on
Absolutely.
the 18th.
18th on Wednesday, July the 18th.
Yes.
You got it.
We're having already a team function at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
So, I mean, that day would be great if you guys...
What time do you want it to have it there?
4 o'clock.
And we give you a complimentary pasta tray, as well as the only thing we're going to ask for. I know that you guys are obviously our accounting firm and stuff, but the only thing we ask for is that I'm going to be taking a picture and stuff, and I'm going to put it on my social media. The only thing that we ask for is that you guys do this. I want to take a picture with all of you, like, so when I deliver it, I have all of you there, and somehow we'll expose Rutwin Brar with Amore Pasta. And then all I want you guys to do in return is to expose that through your social media as well too. So if you guys are on, Facebook,
sure we would.
and if you guys are thinking, and then just tag us in it, so that way we can cross promote that way. You know what I mean?
Okay, absolutely. Oh my God, Chris, that is so awesome. Carol will be sad she didn't talk to you.
Yeah, that would be good. And you guys are on the south side, so it's right in the area there too. But yeah, we'd love to do that for a staff appreciation. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries, Audrey. Okay, so I'll be there at July the 18th, Wednesday at 4 p.m.
Perfect. Oh, this is so wonderful. I'm going to let her know.
Absolutely. Get your cameras ready and spread the word.
I will. We all will. Thank you, Chris.
My pleasure. Thank you.